What's going on, guys? My name is Rumble Skrash, and in today's video I'm gonna be doing a tier list video of the best teams in Battle Rumble currently in the game. I did a tier list video a month ago. I'm not really sure if I'm gonna be doing a tier list of best teams once a month, or it depends on the months and the units that have released. After the video that I made, actually the release of Calgara and Nolan changed things. Then there was the release of the Halloween units, and plus with this last season, as you can see here, for example, we have been getting a little bit more of scrolls. So, for example, here in the 50 match, it's an extra gold scroll, and all these honor scrolls are doubled. So, I mean, and if you add that up with rewards, for example, from the Kizuna and stuff, so we're getting more Rumble Scrolls, which is very, very nice, which is allowing actually to max out other units that were not the first priority. So, and also because it's been another month, so we have gotten more Rumble Scrolls. So, yeah. As I did a tier list video of the best units, and actually a lot of them were Free Spirit, and I was thinking like maybe I should do a showcase of the Free Spirit team because I know it has a lot of potential, but I haven't tested it. And then I uploaded a video, and it was really, really surprising. I mean, the first time that I did those matches. I will link that video in the description here because I'm gonna be referencing that video during this tier list. So this tier list though is gonna be a little bit different than probably the other tier list that you have seen, because I'm not only gonna be showing like the ranks and the tier list, but I'm also gonna be arguing and showing you guys some clips of footage in which you will be seeing why I think one team is better than the other. Obviously, like, all these clips are not really that representative because one match does not decide if a team is better than the other, but it's gonna be just so that you guys get an example, and maybe at the end of the video I will put some other clips in fast mode so that you will be a little bit more convinced. Hey, Rumble Skrash from the future here. I just wanted to quickly mention that in here I just said that I will actually put some clips in speed mode at the end of the video, so that you can see more representation of a particular match, so that you can see that it's not actually like that I had good RNG with that particular clip that I showed. But this video was getting so too long, and I didn't want to really to make it longer by adding those clips. So I mean, in all the particular clips that I put, I have actually tested it way more times than just one time. So let me know in the comment section down below if you're interested in seeing a particular two teams going up against each other, because so if you're not convinced with the reasoning why I put one team higher than the other, and you want to see more clips about those particular teams, then please let me know in the comment section down below, and I might be doing a specific video of the two particular teams. So during the video I might actually be mentioning those clips at the end, so don't mind that. I'm not really going to put them at the end, so let me know in the comment section down below if you're interested in seeing more matches with the two particular teams. So let's go on with the video. But I gotta say, first of all, that some of these teams are really, really close. So do not get triggered if one team is one's rank higher than the other, or the opposite. So because they are really close, and I'm gonna be mentioning that. But I know that some people are just gonna see the final picture and then dislike what they see. But well, I'm gonna be giving reasons for my decisions, and also it's my opinion, so it can change a little bit, but like, so everyone I know that thinks a little bit of different things, but yeah. And my criteria that I'm gonna be using during this tier list is like if a team can in general beat the most of the times the majority of teams that are below the team. So it doesn't really affect if, for example, there's a counter to the slasher team which is high on the rank, and but it doesn't win other top tier teams, then that team is not gonna be higher than the slashers, because yes, it it wins against the slashers, but it does not perform as well against all the teams. So my rank is gonna be consisting of the most consistent teams, so the ones that are more reliable. But then again, I mentioned in plenty of my videos that I think Pyro Rumble, the funny thing about Pyro Rumble is being able to find some counters to specific teams, or at least being able what changes to do a team to be able to beat a particular team that you want to go up against. So yeah, but without further ado, let's start with a tier list video. So let's start the tier list. As I mentioned, it's gonna be a little bit of a different tier list than I normally do on probably you have ever seen, because I will be ranking the teams as I go, so I will be filling the spots as I go. One other thing that I want to mention is that I have actually kind of separated a little bit, not in every case, some of the variations of a particular team, which I think one variation is much stronger than the other one. So I have just separated it a little bit like that. So even though you see that there's 8 spots, it doesn't mean that the side team that I have here it's in the 8th position. I mean, it's the 8th best team. It's just like in terms of variation of teams, this would be in here. So uh, let's start though with the tier list. So here we have the side team, as you can see. I mean, in the case of the side team, you have like also the option of using Boa. So for example, using Boa instead of Kuzan, I would say it's the right choice, or even using Boa instead of Germa 66. I think though that Germa 66 that's going to be coming out now in anniversary, it's going to be pretty important unit for the side team, because it's giving them a little bit of defense and also HP up, which is the only unit that is giving them HP up. So I think that's going to be quite important, and also their special is really, really good. You can also do a lot of variations like using Calgar and Nolan in the starting team, but I don't know, like I really like that Kuzan and but the problem with the side team, in my opinion, is there's just like there's 6 legends and one PvP limited rare recruit, and you cannot really use them all. And it's kind of tricky to decide which unit to put, because every unit is important, and I think like if all these abilities of these units and this unit were available in one same team, I think that would be a much stronger team, but it's not. So that's actually the problem of there being a lot of good legends for a particular team. So yeah. Then we have in the rank number 7, I have actually decided to use and put the old school in team. I will be justifying my decisions as I go through the video, but I think that the first 3 slots that I'm gonna be using, I'm just gonna be filling them, and then I'm gonna justify a little bit in terms of deciding to put the in team over the side team. That could change a little bit. Probably the side team is strong enough in some cases to deal damage to the in team, but I think in general the in team should work out. But when German 66 come out, we'll see, because there's actually, I mean, in global there's hasn't been like this variation of the side team with Roger, so I think it's gonna be pretty interesting to see how that goes. So yeah, but I think that the in team is here. I think they still can fit another unit here, but it's a little bit free to choice. But it's the problem after the release of Roger and Odin, this team has dropped a lot. So as you can see, because it's the team that doesn't have Roger and doesn't have Odin, and mostly Roger, I would say, as I said in my tier list video, Roger is one of the best units. I mean, I think it's the best unit in Power Rumble, because it just completely changes how a team works. Like he's giving early defense, early speed, rainbow, apart from early attack up, which is really nice. And like the special is so busted, like giving a lot of debuffs, a lot of defense down, and a lot of speed down. So really, really good unit. So that's why I think the in team has fallen a little bit, but as you can see, I still think that the in team is a pretty strong team. I do think that there's a lot of teams that can counter him, but well. Then in spot number 6, I have decided to put another in team. So this in team is actually the in team that's using Halloween Mihawk, and it's actually quite interesting because I think the positioning of these three teams at least is going to be pretty accurate, and I think it's kind of funny because in JP this team was the absolute top one for a lot of times, so I don't know. Like I find it really interesting that now with the release of two units, things have changed so much, but they actually have. Like I will be justifying in every case in the top and ex justifying why I think that those teams are better than these two teams. It's true that we still don't have these ores, and we still haven't had the opportunity to test this team at its fullest, but. I do not think the release of that unit is going to change that much, at least in JP. This team has almost disappeared from, I think. I mean, if you are a JP player and you have seen a lot this team, just please then tell me. But I think for what I have seen in the JP meta, this team has disappeared or almost disappeared. So I think that's really interesting, like how with the release of two units, one team that's it's goes from top one to not being used. So I don't know, like the problem again, I explained when I was explaining this unit, is that Mihawk is the main core of this team, and if he dies, then it's GG. And he has actually a cooldown of 45 seconds, really low defense, like only 101, I think, something like this. So that's really low, and that combination of two things is gonna be making against all these really fast teams his special to probably not be able to activate, and then yeah, it's gonna be, and plus this team doesn't even have as much defense as this one, so not really, like I would say, a team that can go up against the slashers. So right now, then we start with the difficult spots. I think these five spots, like some of them are really close. So take that with a little bit of a grain of salt. I will be showing you some footage, but there's obviously some bad RNG, and I think every of these five teams can actually win against some in some particular scenarios it can win against a higher ranked team, so or the team in number one can with bad RNG lose to the number five, so it's just RNG, but I think that in general the what I have decided for these five teams should be a little bit accurate. So well, I will be showing you some footage as I said, but yes, let's start. So in fifth position, I have actually decided to put one of the variations, not the only variation that I'm going to be talking about, of the rainbow team. So for me, the rainbow team, when I say rainbow team, is these three units, like Shank's crew, Rayleigh, and Roger. I think these three units are the main core of the rainbow team. And then you have two slots that you can fill however you like, and it depending on what you put in these two slots, you have a lot of other options, or just one PvP limited rare recruit if you have put two legends. So I think for this lot number five, I have decided to put like a weaker variation, so without Odin, for example. So without Odin, for example, one variation would be something like this, I would say. I mean, it's not the absolute best variation of the rainbow team, but it's still a very strong one. And in these variations, I also include, like, for example, having yes, another legend here, and then PP Whitebeard in the starting team, even an Otama with PP Whitebeard. So a lot of different variations. I'm gonna leave it like that. So basically, keep in mind this is a rainbow team without Odin or with an Odin in the bench. So if Odin is not in the starting team, this is not. Then it's around the same power level of this variation of the rainbow team, I would say. I mean, I have done a lot of matches, and all of these variations I think still can counter the in team. It would be interesting to see if some of these variation will be able to beat this in team, but I think it definitely will, because the defense down from Roger and then the really high damage from these three units is gonna be I mean probably one-shotting the Mihawk, and then it's gonna be GG. But it's gonna be interesting to see. These two teams might be able to change a bit, but I mean, before in JP, the Rainbow team was struggling a lot against this team. But the thing is that the Rainbow team didn't have Roger before the release of Roger and Olden, obviously. So now with the release of Roger, I think the Rainbow team still is able to beat the second variation, I mean, of the Int team, so the Halloween Mihawk variation. So I would say the Int Crit team. Yeah, let's call it that. So I think this should be like that. So in here, I'm including a lot of variations. So keep in mind that even though I have separated a little bit of variations, inside a particular rank, I'm actually also including a lot of different variations. So all the variations with BP Whitebeard on the bench, with an Otama in the main team, with, I don't know, like other units in here, maybe a Dofi and a PP Whitebeard in the starting team. So all these variation I'm including rank 5, so it's still very, very good, but it's not the absolute best that it can be. So then in rank number 4, I have decided to include, this is going to be a quite controversial, so I have decided to include what I think is a little bit the weaker variation of the slasher team, so the one that is most used. So this variation. I mean, sorry, I wanted to put it in order. So yeah, so a little bit like that. And then this would be like this probably. Yeah, like this. So this variation of the slasher, I'm including PP Whitebeard on the bench, but it's also including the Otama, the Kalgaran Nolan here, so the Kako, like any PP limited recruit. I think PP Whitebeard is the best option, but so obviously any other slasher team with this main team, with any other PP limited recruit should be included also in this rank. So yeah, I mean, the only five-man team, so with no unit here, probably is lower than this Rainbow team. But yeah, with a unit like PP Whitebeard on the bench, I still think this unit is, this team is very, very strong. So it's just in rank number 4. I did a video showcasing this variation of the Rainbow team, so without Odin, and I still got some results against the slasher, so I still got some wins. I could have said like this team is better than this one, but I know that a lot of people would have been mad because of that. So I have decided to put the slashers a little bit higher because also it was really close every time. So yes, it's only fair that the slashers are placed here because the slashers will definitely be able to kill all these teams. And in the case of the rainbow team, we will have to see, for example, with this in team. So I have decided to put the slashers a little bit higher, but it's very, very close, I would say. So the problem with these two teams is just like that that this is only like you don't really have Odin here, and Odin is a very, very good unit, and you only have 6 units. And in this applies to the same, you only have 6 units, and in here you have really low defense. So a lot of teams are able to out damage you and just kill you because you don't have that much defense, and an activation of multiplier damage can actually just screw your run. So well, I think this slasher team should be here, and inside this variation, I'm actually including the variation with Halloween Law instead of V3 Law. I think they work in a very similar way, but I still think that the version of Law will actually be a slightly better maybe. So I did a video actually showcasing the version with Halloween Law, so I will link it here on top, and if you want to check that out you can see it, and it was still beating sometimes this slasher team, so but I would say it was 50-50, so I think they are still in the same spot. So spot number 4 for these two variations of the slashers, so basically a 6-man team of the slashers. So I think that's a pretty accurate thing. And also some other like kind of more vague variations of the slashers with rare recruit Inuarashi. It still goes in this spot, I would say. Like still very, very strong, the fact that kind of a bait team can be in rank number 4. So I'm not underestimating this team. It's just like this team is really, really strong, but these teams are definitely amazing, and I will be explaining my reasoning behind this positioning much more than I have done with these ones. So in rank number 3, I actually have a brand new team that I'm actually quite surprised, and it's actually a Free Spirit team. So Free Spirit team has surprised me quite a bit, and I really love this team. It's one of my favorite teams, I would say right now. Like I'm testing it with it a lot, and I would say the placing should be something like this. And I did the video like when I was showcasing this team, going all the time against this variation of the slashers, and I was getting like over 50% rate of wins. So I think it's reasonable to put them a little bit higher than this variation of the slashers, but obviously they are really close, and this could have gone either way. This could have gone like that, but I really want to emphasize how good the Free Spirit team is. So I think the Free Spirit team, I will leave it like a little bit higher than these slashers, but they're like very similar teams. They work in a very similar way. So very close. But I'm really happy about the existence of another really fast and really with a lot of damage that's not the slasher team. So the Free Spirit team, I really love it. If you want to check out some footage of this team actually beating these variations of the slashers, I will link it here on top. It's my previous video. And actually, I will now be showing you some footage of this Free Spirit team beating these variations of the Rainbow team, and also this Free Spirit team beating the In team with the slight change of putting B3 Law instead of Kung Fu Luffy here. So that variation should also be included here. So yeah, I will be showing you guys these two videos, and then we'll move on to rank number 2. So here we have the Free Spirit, so the variation with B3 Law, obviously, against the In team, and even we are attacking during block B, so Int type have HP up level 3, but it's still going to be okay. In terms of placement, they also have a pretty good placement, like the Blackbeard, which is the unit that deals the most damage, is the most protected, so that's a good decision in their part, but it's still not going to be as effective. So because I think that the fact that there's no Roger in a team, it's already making it a little bit weaker than it could be, because Roger is just so strong, but obviously Roger does not really fit well in this team. So yeah, this In team has lost quite a bit because of that, but like even a special of Blackbeard, look at that, like it's not really doing much. Maybe it wasn't really at max special, but I'm showing you this footage. Let's see if the category is max. Well, he's not really completely max, but it doesn't really make that much of a difference. I'm showing you this footage because I realized that I hadn't recorded any match against the In team, but I have actually done this match quite a lot of times, and it's always the same result. As you can see, the team is already crumbling even before the activation of NL, and even before the second activation of Whitebeard. Of Blackbeard. Blackbeard is actually dead, and it just like GG. And even if their units were completely max, I have done plenty of matches against this In team with this Free Spirit team, and it just completely fine. So now it's just a matter of time. So yeah. Well, I hope that it convinces you. I mean, this might be not the first, the very best footage to show, but I have done. I guess you could have very bad RNG, but it still hasn't happened to me. So yeah. So let's see now fast the Free Spirit team against the weaker variation, I'm gonna call it, of the Rainbow team. So in this particular instance, it has a Strong Wall Days and a Kung Fu Luffy, which is actually a variation that as I mentioned, that I actually showcased in one of my videos. But I mean, against the Free Spirit team, it's not performing that well, because Free Spirit is actually a really strong team. So I hope that you will be seeing that with the video. I mean, I have not done a lot of matches against this variation of the rainbow team, so it could you could still get like loose, but I think this match shows pretty well how it should go. So yeah. Well, not really much to say about this match. As you can see, they have a lot of defense, but as we are slowly just damaging them, and their units are just slowly dying, even with their tanky units still being alive. We are still managing to do some damage, and now with a special of Stronghold Days, it's just gonna be really, really fast now. They only have 4 units, so I mean, it's not really that fast. Like they have now a PP Wadri with, which is quite scary. Deal like kills 2 units, but yeah. But you're starting to see now with these matches that it's actually much more close, as you can see. So yeah, like as I mentioned, the top five teams, I would say like they are really really close together. So some of these matches can actually get pretty rough and very close. But as you can see, they are really really low on HP, and now the second activation of Roger just completely destroys them. They have luck, and release somehow still alive, but it doesn't really matter. And even the PvP Whitebeard misses, but it doesn't really affect us that much because now it's just GG. So yes, I hope that you found that clip useful, and if you want to if you doubt of this effect, so you just can test it. So yeah, but let's go on with the tier list. So now that you have seen both of these clips, I will move on to rank number 2. So rank number 2 is also going to be a little bit controversial, but I think it's going to be, I mean, I think it should be considered like that, and it's a very strong team, and it's another variation of the slasher team, but in this case it's the 8-man slasher team, and I think only because of the fact that it's just 8 units, and you can just use Kaku and then maybe even Sanji. I mean, Sanji is not the best option, but it still like that. I would say the position should be around like this. So in this variation, I'm actually including in JP, there's going to be a brand new PP limited rare recruit law. So it's going to definitely be a useful unit to put in this team. And maybe with that law, probably this team is going to be the strongest. But we're going to have to see how it goes with the addition of that unit. But right now, I think the 8-man slasher team, it's a really amazing team, and I did when I actually pulled for Calgar and Nolan, I actually did a video showcasing this team against this other variation of the slashers, and it was working amazingly well. During the championship that we have had, I was always using this team. I mean, I do not have Kaku, so it's not at its full potential. I was using another PP limited rare recruit, so it was not working that well. But I was still beating in general the slasher, so I could always have some bad RNG and lose. So when I wanted to guarantee some points, I was avoiding like these top tier teams, but the times that I went for them, in general, I was winning. I still could lose, but I think in general this win. If you want to see footage of this team beating this variation of the slasher team, then I will link it here on top, so you can go check out that video if you want. And for in the case of rank number 2 over rank number 3, I still it's pretty obvious, but I mean, I do not really have a lot of footage of that because right now it's really difficult to find these variations of the slashers. But I will be showing you guys one clip, so it's not at its full potential at all. Like it's no, I think there's no Sanji or no Kako here. There's like Nekomamushi and a Josu, I think, something like this. But it still beats the Free Spirit team. So it just so that you can see that this team actually I think it's a little bit better than the Free Spirit team. So yeah, I'm not overhyping the Free Spirit team. The Slasher team are obviously still amazing. So even though one variation of the Slasher I think it's slightly weaker, I think the Slashers in general are a little bit better. So and as a last thing, I have the top one, which is gonna be quite surprising, but it's including some different variations, but it's actually a rainbow team. So surprise, surprise. Rainbow team, I still think it's actually the best team. I have been playing around with this team for a while, and it definitely shows a lot of results. This team definitely beats the Free Spirit team. It will be. It's difficult to find either a Free Spirit team or a Rainbow team with Stronghold Ace. So I have not really been able to find a lot, but for example, another variation of this team could be replacing the Stronghold Ace for a Kizaru, for example. I mean, I do not with that variation, it can beat the Free Spirit team. So, but with Kizaru, I think it would be much more close with Rangnam with the slasher. So probably with Kizaru it would be like that, but I think the variation with Stronghold Ace is amazing, so I think it deserves that. I think a similar in a similar rank to the variation with Kizaru would be instead of Stronghold Ace a Dofi. This is seen too, so I still think that this would be like that. So uh, but here, together with the variation that I think is the strongest, which is the Stronghold Ace, I think I'm still including an 8-man rainbow team, which is not really that seen, but I definitely think it's really, really strong. So an 8-man crew of a rainbow team, what else can you ask for? Like your team is amazingly tanky, and you have 8 units. So yes, feel free to kill that, you know? Like it's gonna be really, really difficult to do. It's gonna be very close with the rank number 2 because they have a lot of damage, and if they can damage these 2 units before getting damage dealt to them, this team is gonna perform well. But I still think that in general, a variation like this should be working. Um, I would not really recommend putting PvP Whitebeard on the main team because he can actually die before activating, and that's gonna be a loss of a lot of damage in the late game. So you could definitely do something like this using a Kakus to debuff, for example, the Rayleighs or the Stronghold Ace that are here, or like I don't know, any other units. Maybe against Slasher it's not gonna be that useful, but I think at least it's going to be giving HP to the 2 units that are most important in terms of damage. So I would play like this, but you can also try other variations. So yeah, but not really the variation with VP Whitebeard on the main team, I would say. Now, together with this 8-man team, and apart from the variation with Stronghold Ace, I think it's gonna be pretty interesting to see how this team performs when Luffy Sanji come out. So with Luffy Sanji, I think you could still build a team like that. So replacing Stronghold Ace for Luffy Sanji, and I think this would still be, and it's still going to be the top number and the team number 1. But I think it's in a very similar level to the variation of Stronghold Ace. So I think this team is definitely really, really strong. In terms of now clips justifying this decision, I will actually put now one clip of this team beating this variation of the slashers, as well as this variation of the slashers. So 3 clips, like one of each, this rainbow team beating these 3 teams, and it's obvious that this rainbow team is better than the other variations of the rainbow team, and then it can still beat in teams and such. So let's see how it goes. So I have decided to show you this clip in particular because the placement of the slasher team is actually quite good. And there's a Kaku. I mean, maybe it would be a little bit better at PvP Whitebeard, but it works in a similar way. And also Kaku can be actually debuffing my Rayleigh. So it's I think it's a good example. So I mean, I have done other teams and other matches against this variation of the slashers, and it works just fine. And I want just to mention very quickly that right now I have actually mentioned that I included a clip of the top the team in the top one, so ranking going up against the Free Spirits, but it's really difficult to find any of these two teams in the defense. So and also I think that, I mean, it's pretty clear that as they have very similar units and one is more tanky than the other, I think that it's pretty clear that one will be working better than the other one. But yeah, let's focus on this match. As you can see, it's a little bit unfortunate that the Stronghold Ace actually died really early, but as you can see, PP Whitebeard comes in max from the bench, and look at the amount of defense that Odin has, like 17. That's like really high. And as you can see, the special of Odin just one-shotting the units, but as it is a 6-man slasher team, it doesn't really have that many units in the bench, so it's just like 1 cost 1 unit and then Kaku, which wouldn't have made really that much of a difference if it would have been even a PvP Whitebeard, because it would have just been that with no defense and with no special max. So yeah, pretty straightforward. So let's see the next match. Now, we will start actually with the showcase of the Rainbow team with the 8-man Rainbow team. So in this particular instance, I managed to find actually an 8-man Rainbow team. It's not ideal, so I would put, for example, PP Whitebeard where Otama is. I would not put Kalgar and Nolan here. I would put Shangscrew there. But in general, it's not that bad. Like, Odin is in the safest spot, which is the important part. And then, like, yes, probably this guy didn't have Kaku, but it would be better Kaku than a Jozu here. But yes, as you can see, I'm using the 8-man team of the slashers. And I want to remind you guys that during this block B, the slashers, so my team, is actually has for the whole slashers units, so all the main units, have defense up level 3, so it's much more harder right now to kill slashers. So in this particular match, you're gonna be seeing that actually it's kind of really close at the end, but I would have lost if I didn't have the defense up level 3. So I wanted to show you guys also, not only to give like a lot of points for the slashers, sorry, for the Rainbow team, but also to show you that these two teams are really close. And I hadn't seen a match that close since before Roger and Odin. So it's pretty nice to see that there actually exist teams that can actually be that close together. So and it doesn't really depend on time. And as you're gonna be seeing, it goes very long. So yes, here as you will be seeing, the Otama of the enemy team actually heals the unit. So by the way, I'm actually showcasing the enemy team, so I want to lose here. I have failed to mention that. So yeah, so you're gonna be seeing, yes, the fixed damage of Rayleigh kills Roger and Odin. So the slasher are actually kind of doomed. So but because of the defense up that they actually had at the start, it was much more difficult to get to that point. We had to rely on the special of Rayleigh, which normally it wouldn't happen because if they had been like so low on HP that the special of Rayleigh has actually killed them, it means that they have just survived because of actually the defense up. As you can see, it's much more harder to kill them. And yes, the PP Whitebeard here only targeted 1 unit, which was kind of unfortunate. But as you can see, like, this match is already won for the Rainbow team, but you can see in the clock that the seconds are starting to run very low. And this team, as there's no Takaku and there's a Jozu, doesn't have like enough damage, also because it took a long time to actually defeat the main 5 slashers, because there was like that huge defense above, and also the units were not exactly well placed. Like, it would have been better PP Whitebeard in the starting team. So as you can see, 3 seconds on the clock, the units of the Rainbow team are still alive. There's a PP Whitebeard that's about to activate and win the game, but the time runs out. But that just because of the delay of that extra defense up level 3 for the whole slasher team. So I wanted to show you guys that in a normal situation and with the exact and correct placement of the rainbow team here would have won perfectly. But with that defense up above, it was pretty close, and at the end it was just the time up, which is not a usual thing that you see with slasher teams. So, and also I wanted to show this video so that you can see that these two teams are actually really, really close. But let's see another clip of one other variation of a rainbow team against this 8-man team of the slashers. So here we have like the variation with Stronghold Ace actually. So it's just not the 8-man rainbow team, it's the 6-man rainbow team, but I want to showcase the pure power of this team that I think it's really, really good. So we're going up against, like, I would say almost the best option, like the best meta 8-man slasher team. Like it has Kaku and PvP Whitebeard. It has an Otama, which is okay. I would put Sanji there, but I guess he hasn't leveled up the Sanji. But yeah, in terms of placement, I think they are pretty well placed. I cannot check now because this is a pre-recorded footage. And as you can see, we are not quote unquote lucky, and Calgara Nolan doesn't target really, but it's a pretty normal thing to happen. And actually, we are kind of lucky here with Roger and Odin, but not that much. Like 29 seconds have passed, so it's kind of very possible here. As you can see, the rainbow team is actually a bit allowing us to get a lot of tank a lot of the damage. It's unfortunate because the Stronghold Ace actually got a lot of hits in, so he's very, very damaged. But as you can see, the slasher team have absolutely like really close to dying, so without that defense up buff they would already been dead with the special of Odin probably. And I mean, maybe not all of them, but definitely the enemy Odin would not have activated here. It's not that it makes that huge difference, but it's something. So, and as you can see, here's the PvP Whitebeard, and it just one-shots everyone except for Dofi. So Dofi wouldn't have died anyway if the defense above weren't there, but I mean, it would have been a similar result. And here you can see that I was actually kind of unlucky with because Rayleigh didn't get to activate before dying, but it's actually just okay, and because the Roger here just finished the game, and then that's just GG because it's just 5 units against 2. And as you can see, like all the units are getting hit with normal attacks, and they are actually not attacking even though they have actually full specials. So now that you have seen like the 3 matches against the 2 variations of the slashers and against the Free Spirit team, I hope that you are a little bit convinced that this is actually a really strong team, and that with Luffy Sanji probably it's only gonna get better. But as I said in the start of the video, all these teams are in a very, very, very similar rank, I would say. So these 5 first teams, I think they are really close together. So I mean, I have decided to put them in this particular order because of the amount of matches that I have done testing them. But maybe if I had done a lot more, I would disagree with some of my decisions, and maybe it doesn't mean that if a team is ranked higher than another one, it doesn't mean that it can lose sometimes against lower ranked teams. So RNG is always a factor, but I would say that this is like a way to summarize all these RNG factors in a way of like, if a team is higher ranked than another one, it means that in over a 50% of the times that these two teams go up against each other, one will be getting more wins. So yeah, I think it's pretty accurate. I mean, I'm sure that a lot of you guys, well, I hope that not a lot of you guys, but I'm sure that some of you guys are gonna disagree with some of my decisions, because at the end of the day, it's just my opinion. So let me know in the comment section down below what you think. If you think I have ranked a team higher than it should be, probably I think the main argument is going to be, well, 2 main arguments is going to be like people saying that this slasher team is actually higher, and also that the slashers are actually the best team. I hope that this footage that I have given you is showing you that like I did like in my showcase of the Free Spirit team against this variation of the slashers, and it was performing really well. I would say like 60% of the time, so that's why I decided to put it a little bit higher. But remember, it's also to like reivindicate the strength of the Free Spirit team, because everybody knows slashers and not a lot of people know the Free Spirit. So I just wanted to make the Free Spirit be seen a lot more. So yeah, and I mean, you can try it yourself if you have invested in your unit in the units. But I think this team beats in average more times the slashers than the slashers beat the free spirit. And in terms of these two teams, it's also really close. But I still think that this team is it's much better, and also I mean not much better, but it's a little bit better. So the same argument for that, like in the majority of cases, yeah, so over 50% of the cases, it's going to give and to be winning, but it can definitely still lose. And I think this team is actually so strong that it's similar to the eight-man variation of the Rainbow team. So, and the same goes for the Rainbow team with Luffy Sanji. So, um, as I was saying, let me know in the comment section down below what you think of this tier list. If you disagree with something, let me know your opinion in the comment section down below. So, as always, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.